Well, it hurts to describe our next guest in this way, but former New England Patriot Devin McCourty is in the studio with us.
I think that's the first time I've heard it that way. So thanks for welcoming me.
It kind of hurts.
I mean, it's the course of life. It's like Lion King.
What hurts even more is that you clearly knew the direction you were going in when you were with us on this show last week, and you couldn't make the announcement on this program.
I kind of knew at that time.
Yeah.
I kind of knew. But I mean, I think you should always do it in a unique way, So I actually was planning on doing it this week, but with free agency and the team trying to sign people back, I thought it might have got leaked. So my brother was in Hawaii for NFLPA meetings, and I hurry up, I FaceTime. I'm like, we need to jump on Zoom and do something. And we get on Zoom. He's like, what are we saying? I was like, I don't know, we'll figure it out. So we did that in like 5 minutes so he could go back to his PA meetings. But it worked out well, man. I was so excited and happy the way everything turned out. Obviously the team has been great. I think just, being able to go in there and, my first conversation with Bill all offseason, I always laugh about that. Like reports came out. I saw someone sent me something. I was like, man, you turned down $5 million and just retired. And I was like, I literally had my first conversation with Bill Friday about 2023, and I told him I was retiring. Like there was no contract, no contract conversation.
So how does that work? Do you tell him? Do you just reach out and say, "Hey, I need to talk to you, and I'm coming to the stadium"? Or
I've been going to the stadium every day.
Okay, so you just say, "Hey, can I get together with you?" I
went in. Barish wasn't in his office right before Bill's office, so I walked to Bill's office. Opened the door. It was him, Joe Judge, and Barish just talking. I was like, "Hey, Coach, can we talk for a second?" And it was that easy. But like, Bill's the guy that everyone's like, "Man, no one talks to him," and you just knock on his door and go talk to him.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, we reminisced a little bit.
Yeah.
Had a good.
Do you hug at the end?
Conversation.
Is that?
It was like the handshake hug.
Yeah, that's the side hug.
Yeah, not the full embrace. Like this is my guy.
Yeah,
that was.
Was there any talk of, you sure you want to hang him up, man? Or maybe a comeback? Was there any of that in the conversation?
No, I was like, and I think he knew that, we didn't talk the whole offseason. I spent a lot of time kind of deciding. So I was like, no, I think, you're making a good decision for yourself and your family. And that was really it. And then, we talked a little Rutgers. And talk back to kind of, Bill remembers everything. We started talking back to like the pre-draft process of me sitting down with him at Rutgers was the most awkward visit with any coach that I ever had. Like,
really?
We were sitting there and we're sitting here and let's say the screen's over there. We're sitting there and the screen's probably like, 10 yards away from us, and we're just sitting in this little office and he has the clicker and he plays a play, and then he looks at me and he goes, "What do you think you could have done better here?"
Ugh.
So I answer the question, okay. So then we watch the next play, and then it was like a bad play, and the defensive end shoots inside, I shoot inside like a run, and it's a pass. So he goes, "Well, what are you doing here? Like, why is this? What is this? Like, what's going on?" So I had been in college. This is my redshirt senior year. So I'm like, see, this is a stunt that we have. The tackles going inside to the A gap, the defensive ends going inside. So I really have the C gap, so I got to show up. And so I'm like, I probably impressed him with that one. And he goes, okay. And so it was funny when we met last week, we were talking about that. He goes, yeah, I was trying to be an a-hole so bad to you. He's like, I just to be an a-hole, and you kept answering questions. He's like, it's probably one of the most impressive meetings I've had. And I remember my agent called me and was like, how'd it go? I was like, no idea. No idea how
that's
it went.
his MO. He's trying to be an a-hole.
Mm-hmm. And it was funny because I didn't even want to go to the meeting. I had a plane ticket to go to see my brother in Tennessee. And at Rutgers, like, Coach Shiano would always come up here and meet with Bill. And, like, Rutgers was hard. Like, a lot of stuff we did. So I was like, man, the one place I don't want to go is New England. So he wanted me. I called my agent. I was like, I don't think I'm going to go. He was like, no, you have to go. I was like, I don't want to go to New England. And 13 years later, I've never left New England.
13 years later.
You're going through them hard training camps every year.
By the way, class act on the billboards.
Appreciate it.
What made you decide to do that?
Well, it was funny. I thought it would be cool to get like two billboards, like one like in Boston, like on 93 or something, and then one by the stadium on Route 1. And I was telling Robin Glazer, who's kind of a mix between everything in New England, the front office and with the football team. And she was like, all right, hold on, I got a plan. And she reached out to people and was like, yeah, we got 30-something billboards to do this with. And I was like, okay, I'll take it. So really, Sean over at Catches Law Group, which you guys know Catches.
Yeah, Sean's the best.
Yeah, good relationship with Sean and talking to him. And then Clear Channel helped out as well. So and then Dwight over in New England put the graphic together. This all happened in legit like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was so excited. It came out great. Me and my wife went over there, and then my kids went. And I have to say this, my kids are so spoiled. Like, we're in the car, and I showed them the picture, and I'm like, see, Daddy's on a billboard. And my daughter's birthday was this past Saturday. She was like, I want to go home and open the rest of my gifts. We get in the car, she's legit mad that we're going to look at this billboard. And then we get there, and I'm like, look, you're on it. She was like, okay, I'll take a picture. I'm on it. Worst
That's generally how it works, man. I'm never satisfied.
So when it comes to making that decision, was there the decision to retire? Was there a primary factor? Was it, health? Mental? Like, what goes through your mind when you're trying to decide after 13 years this is it?
Yeah, man, I think one of the cool things for me was I didn't feel forced by anything. So it was kind of a mix of everything you just said. I would say late in the season, I was kind of mentally exhausted. I think when the season ended, there was a feeling for me like that was it. And I think people kind of felt that around the last 2 games. Played Miami at home and then went to Buffalo. I think even after the game, like you watched, like I had a feeling of this is it. But then, you watch the playoffs and you watch the Super Bowl, it's that feeling of, I don't know, like I want to be back. Like I want to have another opportunity to do that. I want to play. And I just told myself, just let the offseason continue to play out. Like I don't need to make a decision in February. There's nothing to do, whether I decide or not. I felt like if I decided in February, it would be more on emotion, and then I would have to kind of live to that decision rather than just wait. So I felt like mentally I was done at the end of the season, and I wanted to see physically would I have that itch to start working out, to get back to going. So I had the surgery, started rehabbing, and then seeing Slater in there every day. I'm like, all right, like I gotta actually start going and working out, not just doing my rehab. So I did that for like 2 or 3 days. And I was like, man, I'm over this. Because, I think in the off season, the reason you start working out at some point and getting after it is like, I don't want to suck next year. Like, I got to start putting in the work to make sure I'm ready to go. Like, that's always been how I was. So once, like a week went by, then I went to Mexico with the family. I was like, this is it. Like, I'm not going to come back not having a proper off season just to play. And I think when I came back from Mexico, I knew it was over. Like I was going to retire.
Well, now that you're no longer with the organization, you're free to speak as you want.
Me and Bill had that kind. He's like, just so you know, like I told Edelman, I told Harrison and Teddy all the same thing. Like I know you're gonna mother me on the air, say how bad I am, and say I suck. Like it's okay. Like you guys you're not gonna take personal shots at me, but like you say I suck, it's probably because I did suck on something. He said so. Like I expect it.
He said go ahead and say it.
Yeah, he's like,
say it.
And he probably knows that I'm gonna probably say some things.
So does the lack of activity when it comes to signings so far in free agency surprise you? I mean,
not the overall lack of activity. Like I think too much activity as a player to me being in this league is scary. Like in 21 when we had a ton of activity and all the fans are like, yes, we got this guy. Like, how's that going to work out? It's so hard to know how that's going to work out. That's why most players are very comfortable staying. If you get paid around the rate you think you should get paid and you've earned, you're comfortable staying because you're like, I know how this is going to play out. Like, I know I can be productive in this system. Whereas, like, when you leave, like Jonnu's a good football player, but you leave and go in a new system, how's that going to work out? It's so much unknown. So I will say what I was surprised was Jacoby. Like, I thought what Jacoby signed for the Raiders was like
peanuts.
Like he was our most productive receiver the last 2 years. And this year he missed, I think, 2 or 3 games and still was head and shoulders our most productive guy in an offensive system that loves having a guy that can work short routes inside, intermediate routes, vertically on third down is the guy usually on third down. So when I saw what he signed for, I was kind of like, damn, I thought that would have been a kind of easy contract to bring him back here. And he's a guy that from talking to him, I think he wanted to be back here. And I thought from a leadership standpoint going forward, he's like that guy. If I'm a coach, I'm saying be like Jacoby,
Right.
Undrafted guy, earned it, works his butt off every single day. Everything we said was a weakness for him, he continues to work at, and the things we say that are a strength, he just continues to master, be like him. So I think that's a big loss. Not a very vocal guy, but he's a guy that you say be like him. Very similar in the mold of Edelman. Be like him. Come down and crack the safety, which I know you don't like doing, but we're going to make you crack 10 times in this game because it's key to winning. Jacoby did that. So I think that was a big loss.
So that's puzzling to you.
Yeah, that shocked me.
See, I thought, Devin, and based on knowing how they operate, it's weird because the position is so valued for the offense, but it's so undervalued when it comes to getting guys paid at that position. And I almost felt like they looked at it like, we love Jacoby, we'd love to have you back, but we're not going to spend that much money on a guy where we feel like, look at the Edelmans, the Welkers. These are guys that we can give short money to and kind of, you almost become replaceable. So it's got to be a difficult feeling if you're Jacoby to know, that was the hardest thing for me and players in general is knowing, what's my value? And he's got to be like, really? After everything I did, you guys don't value me like that?
And I always see as the value is the market. I always hate when people, somebody signs and they'll be like, why did we sign that guy to that contract? Because the truth is the guy probably could have left and made more. That's just the reality when guys come back and they have these big markets. If Jacoby would have signed back in 3 for $30, somebody might have been like, we're going to give him $10 million. And then the reality would have been like, well, he could have made 11 and change leaving. So I always think it's the market. And right now, the receiver market is ridiculous. Guys are making almost $30 million a year playing wide receiver. So to me, if you get a guy that's going to be highly productive on your team at 11, you got to take it, or you got to know what's next in the slot. And for me, being there last year, I don't know who the slot is. I don't know.
Devin McCourty's our guest. Kind of sad, but kind of happy. I mean, you're heading into a new chapter in life. So we got lots to ask you about. You'll stick around for a little while.
Yeah, I don't have anything to do. I'm unemployed.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I have a job.
I mean, we could probably find something for you here.
Okay, that sounds good.
I don't know if you're interested or not, but maybe Jackson's role would be perfect for.
I think we have a tighter cap than even the Patriots.
All right.
You think Bill don't want to spend?
This is Ken Laird.
I know you listen to the show, so you know this, but Wiggy wants to talk to you about Mac Jones. So we're going to talk about that coming up.
Sounds good.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right.